Hello, welcome, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this episode 6 of Fighter Jet Roundtable Season 2. We're back after Valentine's Day, so instead of spending time with a loved one, well, you're watching a bunch of imaginary fighter jets play around in a game about little green men trying to get to space. Happy Singles Awareness Day. In any case, let's go ahead and get down to the Watchtower and the Round Table and see what we have in store for you all today. And here we are, back at the Round Table yet again to take a look at our competitors for this time. And considering that there are plenty of people that are very salty after Valentine's Day and being very aware of how alone and forgotten they all are, well, I decided to bring that sorrow to the masses by forcing two friends to fight each other. Yes, we have over here on Team A the AFX-9 Livewire sent in by Jim and Saw. And over here on the B team, we have the MEDF Neptune Mark III and Mark IV sent in by Kilted Dragon. These two competitors are friends, as far as I'm aware. In fact, good old buddy Jim here got his buddy Neptune to make planes and submit them. Well, not Neptune, not his buddy Neptune, but buddy Kilted. Anyway, whatever. Point being, let's go ahead and take a look at these fighters, shall we? So, right here, we can see the Jim's got a fairly typical Jim loadout, which is to say that, well, he's going for the pulse lasers. It's fairly typical. They are very good special weapons. Good at close and medium ranges with the ability to potentially get some kills at long range. But, so they're a good safe choice for a special weapon. We also see that he's running with some Mica IR missiles down here, as well as the super awesome Meteor missiles. Super fun there. Not really seeing too much else going on, other than he's obviously using the missile rack to get his stuff in here. Pretty cool. Yeah, the Micas for his close range, and more of those. So altogether, I did notice that it's a very skinny design. It almost looks like the Tesla logo, kind of. Sort of. Maybe a little bit. Anyway, so, yeah, and it's running with two WS-10B engines. So it's going to have plenty of thrust. So, anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at what it's going to be fighting over here on the B team. And as previously stated, it will be fighting the Neptunes, Mark III and Mark IV, sent in once again by Kilted Dragon. This is his first submission, as far as I know, one of the first times he's tried to make a plane in Kerbal Space Program. I could be wrong, I don't actually know. But let's see here. Looks like a fairly typical aircraft layout. It's got some armor pieces there with the wing connectors. Also looks like they're running AIM-120Ds, and I'm gonna bet that's an AIM-9X. Also using the missile bay, which is the missile rack, which everyone is using now to try and keep their stuff down. Except I also noticed during the inspection, this has actually got 3 missile racks here with various different missiles on it. Pretty cool, actually. Keeping them kind of separated and also together. But, yeah, all good. AIM-120Ds and AMRAMs, and anyway, the one thing I also noticed is it's got a single WS-10 engine. Both of these aircraft do. So I don't know how effective that's going to be as far as speed and or maneuverability. But it is packing some heat with, Vulcans. Okay, well, and those Vulcans are hit to fire at everything. Yikes. Alright, well, let's go ahead and look at the Mark IV real quick. The two aircraft are virtually identical with some minor changes, mostly in the loadout. As we can see, the missiles are, well, a little different. As far as I could tell, that one did not have any special weapons. I looked through the whole thing and I couldn't seem to find them. But this aircraft here, however, is using special weapons, and it is using the old school pulse lasers. Which is to say it's not using the fancy new model. But that's really about it. And otherwise, the designs are basically identical. So, which one of these two friends is going to come out on top? Well, let's get them into the air and make them beat the crap out of each other for our amusement. And here we are. Round one is upon us. Let us start the competition and get them into the air. As to be expected, the live wires are actually taking off first. As long as they don't go downloading any illegal music files and such. That's a bit of an old joke for anybody who's my age and remembers that time of the internet. Anyway, and the Neptunes are finally getting into the air. They are capable of flight, at least. It's always good if you're going to submit an airplane. Anyway, it's going to take a while for the Neptunes to get into position with them only having one engine. So, your buddy Kaz is going to go ahead and, well, do the thing where I shut up until things get interesting.
A few moments later.
You know, I was nervous when I saw it flying toward the mountains. But I thought maybe the terrain stuff would be okay. I was wrong. I guess we get to restart. Life is pain. Alright, so we're back. Guess how many times I've tried to get this fight to start correctly? Too many is the answer. Yes. The Neptunes continued to have an issue of flying toward those mountains for some reason, so I rotated both sets of combatants to be more left and right oriented so that, well, in this case north and south, because north is actually that way and south is this way. Either way, it seems like they are flying a little better now, and hopefully we should see the start of a real competition. And there it is. Finally! I'm so happy. This is still round one, isn't it? Okay. Suffering. Alright. So we've got the live wires closing in, getting shots off on the Neptune first. Just to make sure it's okay. Cool. Alright, so we've got some stuff going on, and meteors streaking in. Close, alright. Missiles are done. Let's go ahead and, get to the Neptunes. Let's go and see how this is going. Neptunes dropping chaff, but not enough. Managed to get a standoff blast from I think that was a meteor, knocking out a good chunk of its control surfaces, and with that only in, and there's a, ouch, big pain for that Neptune. Let's see if the Mark IV is a step ahead, and the massive, just so many missiles coming in right now at close range. Oh, jeez, a high-speed pass from both the live wires. That was cool. All right. Definitely a very, very action-packed fight now as the craft attempted to jockey for position. The Neptune feeling a little like a monkey in the middle, I imagine, with the two live wires streaking around at high speed. It's almost like they're throwing a party with all the flares. The live wires, they're not the most nimble of Jim's designs, I've noticed. They're quite quick with the two engines. Whoa! Opens up with the pulse lasers, no connections. The Neptune just looks like it is barely like, clinging to the sky here. Pulse lasers going. The Neptune Mark IV does have pulse lasers. And a close-range missile shot. Judging by the chaff dumping, I imagine that was an AIM-120. That one, however, was flares, so it's probably one of its sidewinders. This craft, actually fairly slow on the turn, but pulse lasers coming in. Neptune not fast. But on the bright side, that means there's actually less time for the live wires to continue to get shots on. This one seems to be having some issues climbing out of the terrain. Neptune getting some shots off toward that live wire. With its, actually, yeah, I don't think its guns are just riding that overheat line due to the weapon stuff. Let's check the guard menu. Firing interval, first length. All right, that's interesting. Oh, and just by persistence, the Neptune manages to take out, well, maybe not take out, but at the very least severely wound one of the live wires. In typical gym design fashion, however, it is still powering through, even with missing part of its wing. However, yikes, that one gets taken down by the Neptune. Could we see the greatest upset in the history of sport? Maybe not. This is still round one. But I guess we will have to see. This craft is going to be much more unstable. The Neptune does actually manage to stay in a slightly better firing position while the live wire loops and spins and everything else. The Neptune just basically has to play defense. Because it's slower, it doesn't actually have to maneuver as well to do what it needs to do. It's forcing its enemy to evade fire, and we just had pulse laser hits, dealing a little bit of damage to some of those weakened parts in the back. All it's going to take is just a handful of shots from the Neptune to do this thing in. Let's see, this could potentially even come down to fuel. A little over 2 minutes of fuel remaining in the live wire. Let's check the Neptune. Neptune is perfectly fine for fuel. It's probably full of fuel. It can go and do this forever, basically. Finally getting an overheat on those pulse lasers. Sure took it long enough, that's for sure. And almost immediately getting back on the tail. This thing is nothing if not persistent. Oh, we have dust. That means that there was a hit and a part being taken off. The end of that wing, not looking so good. Looks like Jim offset that part a little bit. Alright. Well, it's only moderately helping. Neptune being very, very persistent. Ooh, more pulse laser shots, and that's it. Those, without engines, this fight's basically over. Unless the Neptune manages to severely overtake the live wire, and even then, I don't know about that. That was quite a turn, actually. Surprised. Neptunes seem to be more agile dogfighters, even with their slow speed. And that's definitely going to be it for the live wire for round one. Let's go ahead and, at last, head into round two. And we're here at the start of round two between these fighters. I'm just glad I finally got them into a position where they aren't just constantly crashing. And once more onto the breach, my friends. The aircraft turn in to get their first missile shots off on one another. All moving in best as they can. Livewire, again, getting its missiles off first with those meteors. Speedy, speedy, deadly missiles. Neptune's firing back with their, firing back with what I assume is a 120D. Also getting very close. Alright, let's go ahead and watch this here. Oh, jeez, and a Neptune taken out immediately by a meteor missile. Well, not immediately, but taken out rather quickly. Oh, jeez, and another missile hit. I wasn't sure. Oh, yeah. Yikes. Another meteor missile hit, and another. Jeez. Woohoo! Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're heading into a very fast round 3 between these two fighters. Only one will walk away victorious. Will a friendship remain intact after one trumps the other? We'll have to find out. And so, we begin once more with round 3 between these two fighters. Very fast meteor kills from long range by the live wires. The Neptunes might be better in a dogfight, but as far as missile potential, they're pretty slow. And due to that, they're going to have problems evading missiles. Never a good thing. And the competition starts for round 3 between these fighters. Not quite sure how it's going to go. Based on missile performance alone, I would say that the Meteors probably are going to wind up winning it for the live wires. But it certainly didn't in round 1. So that remains to be seen. Meteors moving in at very high speed there. Very difficult to avoid, especially if you get caught up in maneuvers. First few zipping by the Neptunes. Just for shits, we'll go ahead and go to the Mark IV over here. Not even Mach 0.5. Very slow on the uptake here. Looks like it's trying to focus in on that AIM-9. Or trying to get a shot with the AIM-9. As we can see, its weapons are attempting to potentially target missiles, or at least keeping an eye on them, which very dangerous. Just like that, missile, meteor, slapping the Mark IV down into the drink. I guess that's what you get for naming an aircraft after a god of the sea, huh? I mean, maybe the Zeus, or, I don't know, the Ares or something. Neptune, though, this one appears to have lost its engine. And very quickly, the live wires recovering. Maybe they were just going easy in round 1. Either way, they're moving on to the finals. So, this time for our second bout of fights, or second heat, if you want to call it that, we have the F-42J Rattlesnake sent in by Q is for question, and the KF-40M and KF-40T Triage Mafia and Triage Triad Gen 2s sent in by Kraken/Kerbal Fury. Interesting aircraft. Definitely. And certainly a mouthful to say. Either way, let's go ahead and start taking a look at these designs. So, Q is for question you might recognize as the wingman of one of our other competitors, Cerulean Eyes. I believe he made the F-14 that was along with the Brimstone Heron. Assuming my memory is correct. But this is one of his own designs. His, well, the other one was his own design, but he's struck out on his own for this. Not too much going on here as far as most things. I'm not even sure. He seems to just be using the cockpit gun, which is perfectly legitimate. He can definitely do that. There's nothing stopping him. Although I do believe it's tweaked like a Vulcan, and therefore probably will not deal tons of damage. But That being said, I did actually like the wing design on this plane. Kind of, people saying it's like gull wings, sort of, kind of cool, to be honest. Very interesting. I haven't seen that kind of a design pop up in competition aircraft before. Going with the AIM-120D missiles, using those super awesome missile racks in there, you can see that. Which always makes it difficult to see exactly what kind of weapon, if any, they're actually using. But, actually, I can just do that, because I forgot I could do that. In fact, these aircraft are using QAMs. Very, very deadly missiles. Probably not going to be able to function at the high range that they did before, as we did have an update to the mod pack that changed that. These aircraft are identical otherwise, and unlike the previous missions, these are using 2 engines. We have Saturns. So, let's go ahead and take a look at what KF has to offer. And over here for the first one of these 2 aircraft, the airframes are basically identical. The only thing that's different is their weapon loadout. As we can see here, the Triage Mafia is so named because it carries MPBMs. The new, well, they've always been pretty deadly, but they're now truly terrifying. Good, solid, long-range, fly-swatter death missiles. Definitely something to look out for if you're not particularly stealthy. That being said, it's also packing GAU-22s, Meteors, and Mica IRs with a couple AIM-9Xs thrown in for long range. Very nasty looking loadout there with those 2 menacing looking MPBMs floating under it. A lot of the plane does actually flex and move as part of having the stuff going on. Like you see, I'll just flex the brakes and all of the parts move. Kind of interesting. Let's go ahead and get over to the Triad. The Triad is exactly identical to the Mafia in every way, except, again, for the missile and weapon loadout. It's called the Triage Beams, but basically what it actually is the TLS Laser Pod, which also recently got a nice nasty little upgrade, and considering that the laser typically only fires in a straight line, he decided to go for Mausers instead of GAU-22s on these, if only to try and shoot in a straight line, along with the laser for a double whammy of death. So, very cool. Looking forward to seeing how both of these aircraft perform against the rattlesnakes, honestly, because they're using 2 of the very awesome special missiles. So, well, special weapons. Either way, let's go ahead and get to the watchtower and get them into the skies. And we are starting the competition. I should have also noted that the Triage is so named because it's going to call an ambulance, but not for them. No. Actually, the reason it's named Triage or Triage is because it has, well, 3 jets, 3 engines, 3 afterburning Saturn engines to be specific, making it very fast. Very fuel inefficient, but very fast. Probably could do as a boom and zoomer, to be fair, with that kind of speed and thrust to weight ratio. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. Well, either way, let's cut to when things get started. And the competition starts with both of these aircraft, the Rattlesnakes, turning in on the dog-fighting pair of death. The Triages are very not stealthy. They were not designed with stealth in mind, just performance, which means most aircraft are going to get the first shot off on them. That being said, though, the MPBMs are firing very slowly, with Meteors trailing along with them. AIM-120Ds zipping in but missing the 2 aircraft. Firing QAMs now at long range. These are going to be missiles to watch. Hilariously enough. The Quams, well, if they miss and they still have flight time remaining, will attempt to circle back around to chase after a target. And we have, I believe that was the MPBMs hitting the target, but just at the same time, we have the Quams just slapping the other one. The Mafia is the one with, whoa! Holy crap, we had just had a... Oh man, holy shit! Holy shit! Oh my god, oh my god, okay. So, as you can see, missiles are very interesting. With this group, congratulations! The Mafia wins the first round! Let's get into round 2! Alright, here's the start of round 2. After a very scary, deadly round 1. Both of these aircraft just battering the hell out of each other with their long-range missile strike capability. Would have been interesting for them to get to the dogfight phase. I tell you, those MPBMs will sneak up on you. They are big, they are slow, but they hit like a freight train. Oh boy, I sure do love it when my special weapons are used to their strong points, and that's definitely what the Rattlesnakes did as well. Their Quams, which have been changed to no longer be the cheesy anti-stealth long-range derp missiles, have been changed to fit the role they were always intended to be, which is, well, they should try to hunt you down and blap you at close range. They are, at the moment, the premier close-range death missile. And, well, if they miss you, they will loop back around to try and smack you in the face. Some people might be thinking, but Kaz, that's so overpowered. Well, not really. See, it keeps its speed up to such a degree that it's not the single most agile thing ever. It will not suddenly break, turn around, and come after you. It will continue to circle around, keeping its speed up, attempting to come back and hit you. So you can still avoid it. In addition to that, it's still just as distracted by chaff as any other radar missile. And we've got the 120Ds being launched from the Rattlesnakes first, yet again in very close proximity. One of the triages gets hit, we're gonna see some nasty, nasty stuff. Triage Triad getting off some of its meteors. 120D zipping very close to the Triad, but not quite getting a hit. Meteors leading the charge, followed by the MPBMs on the lower Rattlesnake. Meteors just barely coming in. Here come the MPBMs with more long-range missiles being launched. And we have a missile strike with the MPBM on the lower Rattlesnake. At the same time, looks like we have some missile strikes on the Triad. It's shedded a lot of parts. Let's go ahead and get down into the action. Let's see, the Mafia still looks fine, but this Triad's completely gone. As far as the other one that took the MPBM, it is also down. This is now a 1v1 fight. Both these aircraft jockeying for position. Rattlesnake showing it's quite sidewindery. It's got that enemy cockpit going, but that's it. At close range, AIM-9X hit, plus more cockpit shots on the Mafia. The Mafia actually still looks like it's still together despite that. That cockpit gun, not the strongest thing ever. It will kill you if it gets on you long enough. But, digress. Let's look at the Mafia here. It's been axed down to a single Saturn engine, which it can still fly with. Luckily, it was the one in the center that took the least amount of damage there. Rattlesnake proving it can stick on the tail quite nicely. Control surface is being shed off, chipped away. If the Rattlesnake had GAU-22s or any of the other 30mm guns, it would already have won this fight. Hell, if it had a proper 3 Vulcans, it would have won it already. But, alas, it does manage to come out on top due to sheer dogfighting prowess. Whoa, whew, that was close. That was very close. This almost had an unexpected thing. An unexpected victory. Rattlesnake trying to get even for the first round. Whoa! GAU-22s can still fire on the Mafia. I am not quite ready to call this yet. If it does manage to get a kill with those GAUs, it can still do horrible things to things. Alright. Our fights are now 1-1. Time to get to round 3. Alright. Round 3. Between these very capable fighter aircraft. I can't wait to see who comes out on top. It could be either of these two planes' fights, with the Rattlesnakes being able to get in fairly close. And, well, the Mafia's nasty MPBMs. This could be anybody's. The Triad has yet to actually get its, well, to have its laser fire. Which, a little sad. At least I haven't seen it fire yet. Probably because it continuously gets blapped in the face by the Rattlesnake's main missile. In fact, I think... no, the Triad is actually not the lead craft. The Mafia is. Well, for whatever reason, the Mafia is effectively managing to escape relatively unscathed, while the Triad's getting clapped. If both craft manage to make it to the dogfight section, we could see some interesting shit. And the final competition starts for these fighters. Who will walk away victorious? Kerbal Fury, or Q is for question. Well, as before, the 120Ds get shot first. They get a large boost of speed, getting up to almost Mach 4, but they only have a small amount of sustainability. As you can see, they are actually slowing down as they approach their target, but zip by with very little effect. There go the Quams being fired now by the Rattlesnakes. MPBMs now coming across the midsection. Will the Rattlesnake 1 be able to get it? Rather, will the Gen 2, will the Triad be able to survive this assault coming in for it? It's trying. Quam coming in, managing to deal chip damage and detonating. Still trying to avoid the secondary roll from the Quam coming in, knocking off more parts. Nasty indeed. Triad still trying to do its best. It is still flying on that single Saturn engine. Luckily, it's the one that's there. Rattlesnake getting a missile shot on an AIM-9. Whatever. I can't even speak. Shit's getting real. Traj Mafia just taking it, sending the Rattlesnake back down to the ground. Mafia showing that it's more than just the MPBMs. Wait a minute. Oh, yikes. Wait! Holy crap! Things have happened. When did that get hit? Maybe it was the MPBMs? I didn't see. Maybe you guys will end up seeing it, or I will when I review the footage. Probably not. Either way, we have a celebratory high-speed pass by the... by the Mafia. Whew. All right. And just so that doesn't happen again, we'll click the button. Well, congratulations to Kerbal Fury. We had a question of who would win, but in the end, the Mafia managed to break some knees. It's time to go to the finals. And the stage is set for the finals of episode 6. Let's get these craft into the sky and see which one will come out on top. And competition starts. Round 1 of the finals for episode 6. Both sets of craft turning around to face one another here. Triads look like they managed to turn around first, or the triages rather, and Livewire getting their missile off first. Not that surprised. The triages are not stealthy aircraft. You know, the Jim at least put a little bit of stealth into his Livewires there. Instead, we've got those meteors coming in at high speed, almost hitting the Mafia. Woohoo! And that one heading for the Triad. That blurry clump there is going to be the MPBMs firing. That triage is getting pretty low to the ground. Let's go ahead and watch the Triad here. Maybe we'll get to see some laser action. Who knows? I think those might be the MPBMs starting to... Oh! Gen 2 gets clapped by a meteor. 13 parts damaged. MPBM's getting dangerously close, managing to somehow miss the live wires. It is laser time, ladies and gentlemen. The Mafia getting clapped by meteor missiles once again. Here we go. Any second now, it should start... Well, maybe. Oh! More meteors. I can hear the other engines. There we go. Laser's going. Trying to get a shot in. Laser has had a change where it's no longer on a gimbal. The only gimbal it actually has is a little bit of yaw. Otherwise, it relies largely on the plane itself. Micah IR is going. Oh! And a close-range shot. Nice track by the triages. Triage. Jeez. Mafia. Well, Mafia looking beaten, but not dead. Well, let's get into round 2. And we're going to start for round 2 of the finals here. This could... Well, this could be it for the live wires, potentially. And the competition begins for round 2. Livewire should be getting their missiles off first, putting the triages into defensive position until the Mafia gets close enough to fire the MPBMs. Meteors being launched now from the Livewires. They managed to take out the Mafia. That'd be a pretty big up. Ooh, wait a minute, it's getting its MPBMs off anyway. Ooh. Every time they get close, 120D switching to fire at the Triad and missing. I don't actually know if those are MPBMs. They seem to be moving a little more quickly than I would have imagined. Well, that might have been that. Mafia might have gotten 2 pinned down. Let's actually go ahead and zoom on in here to the Mafia and see what's going on. It definitely did fire those MPBMs. Maybe they hit each other mid-flight. That is a possibility. If they were fired too close together, they might have bonked into each other and kaboom! Well, with the special missile payload now launched, it's going to be missile time. Standard missile time. Woohoo! That was close. Blink and you missed it. Meteor speeding by the tail of the Mafia here. Been a while since we've seen a straight-up turkey shoot when it comes down to missiles. Missiles. Oh, that might have been an MPBM out there. All right, we've got missiles coming in from all sides. Just, oh, dang. Livewire getting clapped by missiles. Not sure what kind of missile they were. Coming in close to try and end things, and just lit up by those BK-27 Mausers coming from the Triad. And people were saying that the GAU-22 was just the best gun ever. It's not bad by any means. The Mauser still definitely packs a wallop. In fact, it has more explosive mass per each bullet. Admittedly, the GAU-22 has a much faster fire rate, but it also overheats more quickly. Either way, I'm going to stop yapping, because you all can figure that out by yourselves. In any case, we have a winner here today, ladies and gentlemen. Your winner for Episode 6 is none other than Kerbal Fury and the Triage, proving itself as a capable multi-weapons platform and a deadly dogfighter to boot. Well, that's it for this episode. Until next time, everybody, happy building and happy blasting.